I wanted to talk to a call-in guest before we talk to our human guest.
Okay.
On this subject of my friend and producer Vincent Butta, Butta, brought up a intelligent conversation on Airbnb, the subject of Airbnb, which is really, if I told you that it was the housing version of Uber, you might say to me, what's Uber?
I know what Uber is.
No, someone might say.
Okay.
Because these crowdsourcing, for lack of a better word, or community content-based apps are amazing because they shake up an industry. And I think Port Jeff is particularly interesting with this because people want to visit Port Jeff.
Okay.
So the new rule, the new law, as I understand it, is Cuomo signed something that went into
with
immediate
Airbnb?
effect. Yes. Well, it affected Airbnb.
Okay.
But the law was an apartment could not be rented under 30 days, which when you first hear that, it almost says, wow, you're really infringing on my rights.
An apartment cannot be rented under?
Under 30 days. So Airbnb really proliferated with the fact that somebody could, for example, visit Port Jeff for a day.
For the weekend.
Maybe Danvers is sold out, or maybe they like a view of the hill that I'm looking at right now. And they could, with their phone, book it and stay there.
Yeah, for the weekend.
The argument of the governor is that takes that otherwise affordable, and we're going to get to this in a second, apartment off the market, which it does. I think the concept is more New York City. I think the concern is New York City, where affordable housing is unaffordable.
Yeah, but the apartment is owned by someone, correct?
It is, yeah.
So how is it taking it off the market? It's already owned by someone. Someone is already residing in that apartment, and they're choosing to make money, right?
Yep.
On their own, and they're vacating their apartment for 72 hours, let's say. So it's not like
they're renting their apartment for 72 hours.
They're subletting.
They're subletting.
Right?
Right. So, but that takes, think of New York City now, where there's not enough affordable housing.
Right.
And that takes that long-term lease off the market. We haven't even gotten into what it's doing to the hotel industry.
But
they didn't. That seemed to be. That's not the argument because that would be maybe deemed uncompetitive. I don't know, but Vinny uses it a lot as a traveler. He goes to cool places like Malibu and things like that. So I wanted to try to get him on the phone.
Okay. Yeah, I want to hear because I don't personally. I think Airbnb is a little creepy.
Why?
Because I'm like staying in someone's house. I'm sleeping on their mattress. I'm like. I would bring my own sheets, first of all, and pillows and blankets if I was going to stay in somebody's house. That's gross.
We're going to talk about that. Okay, let me get Vinny on. Vincent Butta. How do I do this? This is the first time we're doing this.
I'm a germaphobe.
Can you hear this?
Yeah.
I don't. Oh, now I do.
Yeah, I can hear it. I'm a germaphobe.
All right, Karen, we have Vincent Butta on the phone, and I wanted him to be on the phone. He really intelligently posted something about Airbnb, something that I have done as a traveler and a host, but only once as a traveler. Vincent, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Love to talk about this, too.
Yeah, very, very insightful post. I was shocked that the law went through. It is a law, correct, that Cuomo came through on?
Yeah, they had proposed it, and he just signed it or whatever. But yeah, it's a law. So it's like all that Uber stuff going on. They're trying to manage Uber too. So
right,
a lot of that noise.
So the one thing after your post, you were I think you started off one way, and then you have some pretty intelligent friends, which is always completely appreciated on Facebook, right? Because it's not.
Wait a minute. Did you just say intelligent people are on Facebook?
That's right. That's right.
I'm not saying they're Trump fans or Clinton fans, but
But I thought it was insightful on your part to post it, and then shocked by the law because it starts to go into some rights, and then on the one end, I said to myself, this law. Well, first let's state the law. The law is that apartments, as I understand it, not rooms within a house, apartments. If you are a host, cannot be, advertised on Airbnb or rented, and I have to have that distinction correct, under 30 days. Am I correct?
That's right.
And my comment was, And the reason for that is it takes an apartment off the market for otherwise what would be deemed affordable housing, or for that matter, any housing. And my comment was, I kind of don't disagree with that, but I think it should be county dependent if possible, because I don't think we have that problem here in the suburbs, but I think we might have that problem in the city. Did that make sense?
Yeah, but the problem is that and I had a friend who just did this. He was going to Spain on business for a couple of weeks. So he Airbnb'd his place for a couple of weeks, not a month, but a couple of weeks. And literally the renting of his apartment, which he owns, covered the cost of his entire trip to Spain. So, I just don't know if how right it is to not allow someone to sublet their apartment, unless there's a sublet rule of some kind that prohibits you from doing it. But as far as legislation, I mean, that seems a little strong and invasive, frankly.
I agree.
Frankly, yes.
I agree. I mean, that's what I said before. And you know what? I mean, now, we've attached a name to it. But think about what's been going on out in the Hamptons for years and years and years. People move out of their homes for the summer and rent those gorgeous estates out there for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000, $60,000 for the season. So now we've just attached a name to it. But people have been doing this already.
You had one friend that kind of turned your mind on some things, and I think it's kind of a valid point that it just changes the entire landscape of the economy.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what happened was when I made this posting, which was basically, hey, I'm kind of outraged that they would pass a law like this. This would happen to free enterprise and let the markets, adjust to that, which is normally how it works. I even went as far as making an example about the electric car. I mean, what if someone came out with the electric car and the automotive industry or others went to their political contacts and said, oh, they can't come out with an electric car. It's going to kill the automotive industry, the gas industry. What I didn't really analyze as deeply as maybe I should have was a friend of mine runs a B&B, and he said, look, we're subject to all of these taxes and all of these other things. If they're going to allow this, it should at least be on an even playing field. When you check out of a hotel, all those, that's like 30 taxes you pay. The room's $200 a night, and then it's 60 in taxes. So granted, they, Airbnb gets around that, and maybe that's where I kind of, what you're referring to, I kind of said, that's a good point, because perhaps there should be some...
Even the playing field.
Yeah, even playing field. And that does, that makes sense, I suppose, if that's the way it's going to go. And if you run a B&B, I think you probably feel that way too,
Right. It's an interesting time. I've used it as a traveler, and it's wonderful. I mean, I was in Toronto, and I don't know, I just stayed at 47 stories up, and the guy just spent an hour with us and showed us everything, and it was just a really good experience. And
I love it. I was just in Malibu.
How many? You've used it a lot, right?
Yeah. I've used it twice on trips to see my daughter in college in Malibu. It's been great, and I know a lot of people that have used it. So I've only heard good things, but I can understand there could be a few clunkers. It's like getting a weird driver, an Uber. But
see, that would be
I love it.
That would happen to me, Vin.
No, I think you'll have a good experience. You should try it.
So how do you vet the place? Like, what is it? So when you go
remember
online,
when eBay started and everybody was worried, oh my God, selling this, that.
Yeah.
There's reviews, and you can tell almost immediately.
Okay.
Me as a host, I had someone that had no reviews, and I asked, sometimes it's like I'm trying this for the first time, and you can tell, and you have a conversation first.
Okay.
And then you can pre-approve or decline. It's really a great system.
All right.
And I've had only great success with it. Really? And you're laughing because why?
I'm laughing because I don't know. I don't know. It's creepy, man. You're staying in somebody's place. There are sheets. Like, I don't know.
Well, you gotta do it. You become an innkeeper.
Vinny,
pretty immediately.
do you travel with like your own sheets and pillows?
Oh yeah, we could talk about that. Yeah, you could.
Like, do you sleep? Like, you know what I'm saying?
He's not staying in the Roach Motel.
Security detail.
I mean, but those are the things I'm thinking about.
Okay, that's valid.
I don't know.
Vin, is this being appealed?
I haven't heard anything about that yet. My guess would be it would, but here's what really ticks me off, and I think it's pretty consistent with the sentiment of the country now and what's going on with the way the elections are going and so on. It just ticked me off that, Cuomo signed this went through, and I know all of that happened because of the money behind screwed up as it gets from a government standpoint. But all the lobbying and all the special interest groups, I think it flew through because it did because of that.
It did.
If that didn't happen, maybe there would have been more debate on it and dialogue, and at least trying to get something similar. That's ultimately what triggered me. Having just come back from an Airbnb too the day before didn't help.
Right.
I can't stand that stuff.
You didn't even hear
lack
about
of a level
this.
playing field for just about everything that goes on in this country is really frustrating. So that's really what set me off.
Absolutely.
Loving Airbnb.
Yeah, and deservedly so. Absolutely. Has Airbnb changed their website to reflect this new policy law?
I went on yesterday to see. I didn't see anything.
I didn't either.
So my guess is they will. The other example I made, which is interesting too, is they were restricting Tesla being able to sell in New Jersey for a lot of similar reasons. There's a lot of interference now in things like Airbnb, and you're going to see it with Uber.
That's
The world is changing
that's
so
not
rapidly.
Good. That's not good.
Yeah.
You know what I heard? You know what I heard yesterday? Just think about this for a second. We're building new train platforms for multi-billions of dollars, new subway platforms, new subway lines, this, that, and the other thing. They say without a doubt within 30 years we'll have driverless cars that will be controlled by the internet. They'll know exactly, they'll go on auto paths and not bump into any other cars. It'll happen. It's definitely going to happen, driverless car. And that's going to be your mass transportation. So we're putting money into things that are really going to be obsolete.
Yeah. It's so true. You could make a valid argument that some of these things cost jobs, but I don't know if you heard some of these studies about 40% or so of the big companies in this country over the next 10 to 15 years are going to be gone because of technology and how it's affecting businesses. Major companies. You can see major media companies and others going away by virtue of the way digital media is going. So isn't it just, I don't know, it kind of stinks if you lose your job on it, but it's progress, right? Isn't it supposed to work this way, where someone comes up with a great idea to make things better for consumers and fill a demand, and boom?
I don't know. My kids have they have their own opinions on this. We're at 8 billion people, and he just thinks there's too many people. So that's another subject. But you're gonna see some mass misery. I'm sorry, you will, unless you buy Amazon stock, then you'll be fine.
Exactly.
They're taking over the world.
All right, Vin, listen, we're going to have you back. This man is a man of many, many talents and knowledge. He's that's how I know Vin. He's a producer of a lot of TV shows and great web shows, and he's a principal over there at GVP Digital in Ronkonkoma. And I appreciate you taking the time this morning. I want to follow up this subject with you, okay?
Yeah, sure. It's great talking to both of you. Have a great day.
All right, Vin. Thanks
Bye,
again.
Vin.
Bye.
See that?
I don't know.
You see the technology that I'm using here? I like the way that sounds. Thanks, Vin.
I don't
You're
know.
going to use it, and you're going to love it. You're going to use it, and you're going to love it.
I'm traveling with my own sheets, my
You're
own
gonna
pillows,
You're
and my
going to go
own
into
blankets.
Vermont, and everything's going to be sold out, and you're going to find this cuddly little place on a hill, and you're going to be like, how the hell didn't I do this?
All right.
We're also going to ask about this subject with our next guest.
Yeah.
So we want to get to our next guest. I'm
Yes.
excited. This is we had Lisa Perry on as the Conservancy president. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk to her about her real estate expertise in Port Jefferson. So I'm
Yes.
excited about that. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. We'll be back.